This video is brought to you by Bustin', cause bustin' makes me feel good. I said, bustin' makes me feel good. I said, there we go, yeah! Woo, Ghostbusters! Ghostbusters Frozen Empire was directed by Gil Kenan and released in theaters this weekend. And I am a huge Ghostbusters fan. I absolutely love this franchise, minus the 2016 one, but it's okay. It's not awful, but primarily, when I think of Ghostbusters, I think of Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Yes, Ghostbusters 2 is pretty much a retread of the first one, I guess, but damn it, I love it. Also, you got Afterlife, which was really great, from 2021. I really enjoyed that one. So, we're back in the Ghostbusters franchise. Now, if you haven't seen Frozen Empire yet, there will be spoilers in this review. Not too much, but enough. So, click there if you want to just get to the spoilers if you have already seen it. But if you haven't, then definitely click off before that time code because you will get spoiled. So, getting into this movie, like I said, I really enjoyed Afterlife, so I was ready to get back into this franchise with these characters. I love Paul Rudd. He's in this franchise now. That's really awesome. And yeah, we just basically see our main family, of course, comprised of Phoebe, the mom, I forget her name, is Callie. Paul Rudd plays Gary, and of course you have Finn Wolfhard playing Trevor. And they are basically just a family of Ghostbusters right now. They are going around the city doing their thing. It's been a year since the ending of Ghostbusters Afterlife. So that's cool. They have the firehouse. They're living in there now, which was awesome to see. It never gets old to watch them slide down that pole. It was really cool. Seeing the Ghostbuster sign here in the Ecto-1, all those nostalgic sounds. Love all of that. And then you also have, not too far from the firehouse, you have Ray's bookstore, where he is with the kid from the last movie named Podcast. He's kind of his intern now. He's helping him, make content about mysterious stuff, helping him make YouTube videos pretty much about the supernatural, which was cool. And then you have Winston, who is kind of overseeing all of all things Ghostbuster, and he has this new containment unit area, this building where they have the girl from the last movie, Lucky, operating traps and testing out things on ghosts and stuff like that, and they have possessed items that Ray gives them. And they have this other guy, this assistant, I forget his name. He was pretty fun, but right off the bat, I just named I just named 10 characters right there. This movie has a lot of characters, and they add in 2 or 3 more in this one as well, which was, wow, whew. It's a big cast. Yeah. And you also have Venkman, of course, returning. Bill Murray, as well as Janine. I forget the actress's name. I'm sorry. And they're really enjoyable. I love the banter between the OG Ghostbusters. I just love that. I love everything about the OG team. Their chemistry. Oh, man, I just can't even express the nostalgia I feel when they are in the same scene together. So getting into the main threat of the movie, this ghost that is kind of freezing people to death, it's a very serious, tone for a Ghostbusters movie. This is, obviously you can make jokes about Gozer, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Slimer, stuff like that. Even in Ghostbusters 2, like Vigo, and in the painting. It was a bit more intense than Gozer, but he was still pretty funny. But even that, it can't compare to this, because this thing is literally killing people, and we see it! We see it kill, 1 or 2 people in this movie, and I was shocked about that. So this movie did not hold back in that regard, and I like it. The villain is, this horned creature, ghost. I really enjoyed that. That was super threatening. It's a very, it made for a very entertaining third act, because obviously, we want to see our Ghostbusters cracking jokes while they're busting these ghosts, but this thing is this is a life or death situation. They are literally getting close to dying by the end of this movie to this thing. So that was awesome. Keeps us on our toes, switches things up from the normal Ghostbusters feel. So I liked that. I did like that. It was a nice change of pace. Where I think this film loses a bit of its footing is not only in the amount of characters that it has. So you're trying to juggle all these different stories that they're trying to tell with certain characters. There are just a few things that don't work about it. Mainly, there's a lot of exposition in the film. Mainly about, of course, the past with this villain, this ghost, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but Kumail Nanjiani's character is a big part in this plot, which his character, honestly, I don't know, man. It wasn't hitting for me. The jokes weren't hitting in this one for me for some reason. There were a few here and there, and some nostalgia. Obviously, if you've seen in the trailer, the library ghost comes back. There's a scene where this ghost possesses the lion statue outside the library. I enjoy all that. And of course I enjoyed the banter between our OG Ghostbusters. But, like, overall, nothing else really got a laugh out of me, which is weird, because I crack up during the Ghostbusters films. Even Afterlife, I really enjoyed a lot of that humor. Overall, though, I just, it comes together in the end just enough. But, if I'm lacking the humor in a Ghostbusters movie, if I'm not really feeling all of the characters because you have so many of them, and to be honest, there are a few things that happen in the plot that I'm just kind of sick of. I've seen in other movies. I'll get to that in spoilers. That's all I can really explain for right now. Overall, I'm going to give Frozen Empire a 7. I think it's still a really good outing for the Ghostbusters franchise, not knocking this one at all. It's just not as prominent as, let's say, Afterlife. I really enjoyed Afterlife. This was not as good as Afterlife. Sorry. But let me know what you thought of it. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you can't tell me what you thought of it. I know what I'm thinking about there. Sorry. Let's get into the spoiler section before I ramble on. So, entering spoilers, not too much to talk about here when it comes to Ghostbusters, but there's a bit. One of the things that I don't like about this movie is that there's this plot line that I can just see where it's going from a mile away. And McKenna Grace's character, Phoebe, she befriends this ghost, and I immediately saw where it was going. This is a liar reveal story where the ghost is befriending Phoebe, but then you get the scene where the ghost is by herself, and she's like, does it really have to be her? Talking to the main antagonist ghost. So, surprise, surprise, she's working for the antagonist. He helps the antagonist complete their goal in the third act by letting all the ghosts out of the containment unit at the firehouse, which starts freezing over like all of Manhattan, all of New York. It's crazy. I like that. That was a really cool detail. I like the freezing over and everything. It adds a lot of tension to the scenes where you don't know if certain characters are gonna make it out alive. So I'll just start off by saying that everyone does make it out alive, thankfully. I was really getting nervous for a second they were gonna kill off a Ghostbuster for some reason. I don't know. I just feel like that's something that they want to do now. But thankfully they don't. But yeah, this ghost helps the main antagonist. But of course, by the end, through the power of friendship or love or whatever the fuck, sorry, but I'm just so tired of this trope in movies. But the ghost is like, oh, I guess I should help Phoebe, and then she helps take the ghost down. So yeah, it's kind of a nothing plot. I knew where it was going. Kumail Nanjiani's character turns out to be this descendant of the one of the fire makers, who apparently was like kind of like a Ghostbuster back in the day, before Ghostbuster was the term, and locked away this ancient evil. But apparently Kumail Nanjiani's character is the descendant of one of the fire makers, and yeah, it's just kind of a nothing character. I didn't really care about him. I didn't care for that plot line. So that's just a few plot lines I didn't care about. But eventually, by the end, they do defeat the ghost, of course, and everything goes back to normal. You have Walter Peck in this movie, returning from the OG Ghostbusters movie, and I was worried. I was like, are they not going to give us a conversation between him and Venkman? And while it's not as long as I had hoped, I really would have hoped that Venkman would have told him that he has no dick again. But anyway, they do have an interaction, which I loved. I enjoyed that. No Sigourney Weaver in this one. She was in Afterlife, but she wasn't in this one. I was not gonna lie. I mean, I wasn't holding my breath for it, but was a little bit disappointed. I wasn't going to hold my breath for Rick Moranis. I would love to see him come back as Louis Tully, but I don't know. That's probably not going to happen ever. But nonetheless, I thought Frozen Empire was a solid entry to the franchise. So let me know what you guys thought of Frozen Empire. It wasn't as good as Afterlife, and it's kind of, I don't know. I could see it maybe dropping to a 6 in the future just because it was lacking those big laughs that I normally get from this franchise. But it wouldn't be like a low 6. It would be high. It would be a high 6 for sure. But anyway, yeah. Let me know what you guys thought of the film down in the comments below. Subscribe for more awesome movie reviews. And yeah, hope Bustin' makes you feel good. Take care. Goodbye.